You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded June 3rd, 2024.
Welcome to Celtic Ligers.
Yeah. Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. Take your shoes on. Leave your shoes on.
Take your shoes on.
What? Do you ever engage in the shoes off discourse?
I remember the first time that happened. Distinctly remember, was the first time I went for a sleepover at somebody's house, and they went, "We take our shoes off in this house." I was like, "What in the world?"
Yeah.
And I started to notice it at a lot more houses, but I do not understand. I don't like it. It's kind of like putting the guest on the back foot immediately, just being like, "Remember, you're in my house, bitch."
Yeah.
Take off your fucking shoes.
Yeah.
Let me smell those fucking, sweaty. I'm trying to think of a word for feet that people use. Yams, that's legs.
Yeah.
Gams.
Poppers.
Yeah, those sweaty poppers. I want to smell them.
Yeah.
Take off your socks as well, actually.
What? Take off your socks.
I'd be like, take off your socks. Take off your fucking socks as well. See what I can make you do. Actually, in this house, we do a little dance before we're allowed in.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it, but you have to.
I did it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also felt like, and I feel like it's classist because poor people always have holes in their socks. You know what I mean?
That's what I think. Yeah, I love the depiction of the working class. Like I'm guilty of it as well. But like whenever they go, we have to think about the working class. You just think of like the most destitute. Like, sir, please, could I have a farthing so I can just simply slip it in my shoe so I can walk around without the puddles getting in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like talking about like working class people getting elected to the Dáil. And they turn up, they have like a boot and they're like big toes sticking through the front of the boot. And they're like, no working class representation. And they have like their bindle over their shoulder. And the top hat that's like a bean can with the thing.
You see,
that's Gino Kenny.
Do you know the one? What's his face? The fucking ogre, John Fetterman, over in the US. So what happened is he was kind of perceived initially as like a bit of a Bernard brother, and he got in wearing a hoodie and like the 3/4 length shorts, and they're like, no, you should let him do it because he's like he's working class. And now obviously he's massive Zionist, real piece of shit, bashing the left any chance he gets. And so like one of the Trillbillies, I was listening to the Trillbilly Workers Party podcast, and he was like, can I finally say this now? He's like, I don't care if you're blue collar or white collar. Everybody's got a fucking suit that they put on to go to church on Sunday. He's just saying, get a fucking tie, you piece of shit. He's like, just because they have this thing where it's like, yeah, no, he's okay. He has to look like a slob because he's working class, because that's what that means, Like, put on a
he does dress like the modern equivalent of a hobo,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so freaky looking.
Yeah, and it's okay to say that now because he's got bad politics.
Yeah. Yeah, the costumes in the Dáil are always interesting, like the Healy Rays with their hat, that they wear inside.
Yeah.
And they're very wide ties.
Yeah.
And then none of the PvP people wear suits.
No.
And then Simon Harris wears like a ghoul costume.
Yeah, he wears this weird rubbery mask. There's like animatronics. Somehow it seems to move all the time, and he's always getting caught mid-syllable. It's like a Pirates of the Caribbean, like the Disneyland ride, except, you know, the thing is malfunctioning and twisting itself into sort of like weird expressions all the time, you know?
Yeah, when I was young, we went to Disneyland, and the Pirates of the Caribbean ride broke. We were on it for like an hour.
You are kidding.
Yeah.
That's
And,
awful. That's
yeah.
going to be like, that's some event that changes your life.
And then they like wouldn't let us off the boat. And then my dad just went, if you don't let us off, we'll sue you.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, you can leave. It was really like a magic password.
Why wouldn't they let you off the boat?
I don't know. But it was funny because you could see my dad just being like, we're in America. This is this threat will work, you know?
I feel like it wouldn't work because they just use it all the time over there.
I think it's just they don't want to get sued.
Yeah, fair enough.
He also, like, this was pre 9/11. Show how old I am. But we were in California and we had to go to
Jesus. Man.
Yeah, we had to go
before the good times. No.
We
Oh no, it was actually bang in the middle. Never mind.
we're going from California to Florida, where Disneyland is. Florida. And
Disney World, but whatever. We'll continue.
Yeah. And then we turned up to the airport and we didn't have our passports.
Oh shit.
Because it was like an internal flight. We didn't think.
Yeah.
They needed the passports and they were like, you're not allowed on the plane. And my dad went, do you want to tell... No, I'll kill you. No, he goes, do you want to tell these two children that they can't go to Disney World? And they let us on.
I can't believe that worked. That's so good. He's made he's made his problem their problem. Like, you forgot your passport. Why don't you tell them they can't go to Disney World? That's so good.
Yeah,
man. Your dad is because I've only met him now. He's very unassuming. This behavior is very unassuming of him, just like threatening people.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Back then, I look after my kids. All right, so you fucking, you know.
Yeah.
That sounds awful though. That's a terrible trip. Do you have fun at Disney World, or was like?
Yeah, I mean it was great.
Oh, okay.
I got a glow in the dark skull.
Yeah.
That was good.
I can't see it though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your skull, like, man, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, make that one up yourself if you want.
We got one of those like invisible dog things. You know, like it's like a wire with a muzzle on it.
Yeah.
Do you know those things?
I do know those things. They're really cool.
And then the one behind the thing was like, in about 20 years, we'll all be wearing one of these.
What did she know?
She was like, don't go to Wuhan.
I love people in America. Like, I know that, but like in America, you do get people who just, most jobs here, people are like, yeah, thanks for the money. Here's the money back. Bye. Do you know? But in America, they're like, there is the greeter thing, which is not, I don't like, which is like, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, which sucks.
Take off your shoes.
Then there's the other ones where it's like, I was at a toy store in Los Angeles when I was in 2002. Okay.
Wow.
So post 9/11. The good times.
Good times are over.
But I remember being in a Toys R Us and I was looking at like the video games, and then I was asking the guy, I was like, there's no way that any of these would work in like Ireland. And he's like, no, unfortunately not. They are region coded unless, he's like, I've got a region locked PlayStation. I used it to play my Japanese games, which I wouldn't recommend because then you'd have to learn Japanese, you know? And he's just volunteering all of that information. I have not said anything, you know? But these people are so excited
12,
to...
and he's doing like a stand-up to you.
But it's like, I kind of like that. I thought that was nice. At the time as well, genuinely, I thought he was the coolest guy ever. I thought this guy is such a legend.
Yeah. And what's funny is that you told me about this before, that there's like a comic. Sorry, I'm peeking here. There's a comic book shop you went to when you were younger. Why is this so? Sorry. It keeps going red.
Shit, I hope that hasn't fucked up your audio then. Because I can hear it kind of peaking, but throughout.
It just means that the first 10 minutes are horrible.
It's going to sound like you're screaming in somebody's ear.
Yeah. Well, the people were saying it's too quiet anyway, so.
Fuck them. Anyway, whatever. We're not even getting into that anymore.
But, oh yeah, it was a comic book shop, and you thought that they were the coolest people, but
yes,
you thought they were cool in the way that, like, James Dean was cool.
Well, I thought they were cool in the fact that I was intimidated by them. I would do research before going into the shop so I didn't look like an idiot, you know? And then one of the defining moments was when I went in and I asked him which was better, The Long Halloween or Nightfall, 2 Batman comics, and he was like, oh, you're asking, that is just, and I was like, yeah, I knew, you know.
So this is our last episode before the local elections and the other ones, NEP. So obviously there were like 8 million local candidates.
They are so many. Like, did I tell you that my mum, there's like 31 seats. So my mum is like part of a solidarity, like a Palestinian solidarity thing for Kinvara. And so they're trying to be like, okay, we need to put up a big list of all the people who are running in our constituency, like in Galway, basically, to try and
pressurize them.
Yeah, exactly, about Gaza, get them to make commitments, which is really a bit, she's discovering a bit of a fool's errand, because they're like, the locals are like, I'm not talking about Gaza because I have to talk about the holes in the road and shit like this, and people don't care about Gaza.
Yeah.
And then the Euros are like, not committing to anything about Gaza, even though actually that would be pretty. I mean, I think that the line's been drawn.
I think
there.
A lot of people running for the Euros are too bloodthirsty to. Like,
yes.
Well, not too bloodthirsty, but too, like, they just want to get there and get money. You know what I mean?
Say again?
Like, they don't want to have to do too much work. They don't want to have to rock the boat at all.
Absolutely. But she said there's 31 seats and there's 83 people running.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up.
Are there any final candidates of interest to you?
In the Euros? Or in the locals?
No, in the locals. Just off the top of it. So we talked about Conor Murphy, say, last week.
Yeah, he was running in the Euros, though.
Oh, yeah. There's Nick Delehanty.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm just going to read through his thing.
And by great, I mean he's really stupid.
Curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vote number... we got this through the door. I'm just going to read through it. And then there's another guy from my area that I want to talk about.
I'm trying to think if there's local that I saw. You go first, and maybe something will come to me.
This guy, Nick Delehanty, he's running as an independent, and he's the guy who has the poster that says, "Make crime illegal." You know that guy?
I do, yeah.
Sure, we were talking about him yesterday.
Yeah.
And his flyer says, "We need better people in politics. Simple as that. I'm running because it's the right thing to do."
Okay.
I worked as a solicitor for 10 years, and now I run my own business.
Good. We need small business owners. That's one thing I need to point out with this one is that, so what happened is COVID, like we've always had like business owners and needed to give a shit about them for whatever reason, okay? These small business tyrants, right? But then you have, but now this election, they are more emboldened than ever because of the absolute mollycoddling that they got during COVID. Every single thing that happened. So they are the most aggrieved people who have been given the absolute most. They're like, small businesses are on their knees. We're struggling through. We're still surviving from the pandemic. It's like, you got handed money, just constantly poured money And you are so, why are you so fucking angry? And they're like, I'm going to run to unseat you because you didn't look after small businesses. Like, they did nothing but look after small businesses.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
So his points are small businesses.
Yeah.
It's time to cut VAT and introduce robust entrepreneurial incentives to foster growth.
Yeah.
The cost of doing business is too high. Small businesses create over 60% of jobs. That can't be true. It's time to support them. Housing. Time to cut the tape. I'm tired of ridiculous
Time to cut the
bureaucracy and
taint.
NIMBYism. What? Cut the taint.
NIMBYism. That one, anytime I hear that, I'm just like... NIMBY and YIMBY is so pointless to me. Do you know? It doesn't... It's an American expression that's been imported here, and a lot of those guys who are like Pascal Donahue advisors love to use it to be like, see, these people are anti-progress because they don't want to live... they don't want to share a kitchen with 30 people and live in a shoebox.
Yeah. Well, he says, build, baby, build. YIMBY.
Shut up.
I also... were you following that story about the Fine Gael one? She was running...
Oh,
gonna
yeah. I
make
saw
the
that
story
the
up.
ditch had it and that she stepped down. I have it actually here. I'll pull it open.
Just
Fine Gael
tell me whether
local-
she was a councillor or not.
Well, she was a local candidate. I don't know if she was a councillor.
And she was going to keep objecting to this local development. And then she reached an agreement with the builders. And they were like, if you pay me, what was it, 50 grand? And do 50
15K.
grand's worth. 15. And then you do 15k worth of work on my house. I'll
Okay.
drop the
Yeah.
you know, the objection. So then they gave her the money, and then the pandemic hit, and they wrote to her, and they were like, the work is going to be delayed,
Yeah.
you know, because of the pandemic. And she got her solicitor to write them a letter saying, like, we had an agreement where if I dropped the objection, you would pay me 15 grand and do 15 grand's worth of work on my house. And you are not honouring that contract that we had. It's like, most people would try to avoid putting it in writing. And she sent a threatening letter to the company being like, do you remember that corrupt deal we had going?
A lot of that is like, these guys, they think that that's the point of local government and politics. The corruption is so taken for granted. And it's only in recent years, and also the media clearly has that thing as well. They didn't report on it. They didn't think it was worth reporting on. And then the ditch will report on this stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, this person has lost their seat. And they're like, fuck, I didn't know I could lose my seat over this obvious corruption. Do you know? Like, they're very, it is funny. Like, in a previous Ireland, that would have been like, you'd have gotten a Shannon seat still probably, and your career would have lasted 10 more years. But now it's like, you're out in your ear, do you know? Although I will say Niall Collins and Robert Troy didn't really suffer. They suffered setbacks, but they're still very much a part of like Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. I think Niall Collins was Fine Gael. Wait, was he? All right, Niall Collins is Fianna Fáil. Okay, never mind. And she's Fianna Fáil as well. I think that's like the pitch, wasn't
she's
it?
Fianna Fáil.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Fine Gael. I just mentioned it 2 seconds ago and I've already forgotten. Fine Gael, yeah.
She is Fine Gael.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going to fly through the rest of these points because the last one is quite good.
All right.
Housing. Oh yeah, cut the red tape. Build, baby, build. YIMBY. Immigration. Blah blah blah. He quotes Macron. We cannot house the world's misery. Emmanuel Macron. Crime. Make crime illegal. Dublin City is turning into Gotham. People do not feel safe. It's time to enforce the laws of the land and respect for An Gardaí. Traffic, traffic. And then last one, dogs. Dogs help create a better society. More dog parks, more bins. Better dog control laws among more doggy-friendly facilities. Dog people are better people.
It's like I don't support his anti-immigrant policies, but I do support his puppers and doggos policies.
Pupperino. Like I feel like the only thing where he's like the government should be helping these people is when it comes to dogs. Like the housing is just like we need to let the housing property developers do whatever they like, you know. But with the pupperinos, it's like the government needs to be looking after these people.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that he also has like a dog grooming business as well. It's called Barclays, a dog daycare company. And I was like, I actually think Barclays is already taken, funnily enough. But it goes to show how obsessed he is with banks and money. And like that, COVID it'll be an interesting 10 years, the aftermath of COVID, seeing all this shit where it's like, it's just such a weird, fractured sort of politics where it's like, yeah, I'm liberal. Yes, in my backyard, which is used, yes, in my backyard originated from obviously not in my backyard, which is I don't want any migrants moving in near me, okay? But then you go, yes, in my backyard, I want there to be building. But also, I hate immigrants and I don't want them to come here. You're like, all right. And also, Macron, it's like the EU. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know, like, I'm just used to my racism being fairly, like, visceral and fascistic and kind of in the vein of, like, John McGurk, as opposed to, like, we need to represent our European values by deporting everybody, you know? It's like, it didn't used to say that. That used to be implied, but it wasn't, like, understood. Do you know what I mean? Like, that, like if you say that you're anti-EU, then they'll presume that you're like a right-wing racist Brexiteer. Whereas now, anyway, whatever. Do you know what I'm getting at? Does that make any sense? It's just that all of it is like a real pick and mix of politics from the past 2 decades. And it just makes for a very confusing candidate like Nick Delehanty. But the main thing is that it's kind of just rich people or people who feel like they're part of those elites deciding, I'll just run for local government because I'll fix things, do you know? Like, it's kind of like a hobby. That's what it feels like. And then to see that doggos and puppers thing sitting alongside racism is also very interesting. But not really entirely out of character. Here, I'll play you this interview with him, by the way, if I may.
Okay. If you may.
Big talking point in politics at the moment is immigration. And there's this, there seems to be a lot of bubbling tension towards immigrants. Recently a Croatian national was killed.
Yes.
Because supposedly they heard him speak Croatian.
Yeah.
And so what's your experience of immigration in terms of being an employer?
Yeah, so like I have a Croatian national working here as well. And he was devastated when he heard that. Like, he was visibly upset. He was like, someone was killed in Ireland for speaking Croatian. And he speaks Croatian all the time. So, on my own TikTok, I've made a point of covering this story, because out of respect for him. And I followed this story very closely. And I've talked to him. The part of Croatia they were from is the equivalent of Longford. These were really normal people, according to him. And they were just mercilessly beaten. It's just incredible what happened. The people that did it need to be hung out to dry. What's happening now, in my view, is that there are legitimate concerns about the government's immigration policy or lack thereof. But what's happening now is genuine people that are racist or have racist connotations are hopping on this argument and they're fueling the fire. But the government, it's because of the government's bad policy that they're giving the actual racists and violent people out
That's
there.
enough.
I just found it funny. He's like, oh, they were like from like normal people. They were from like Longford.
Yeah.
You know, so that they
Yeah.
didn't deserve to die.
Yeah.
Fair enough,
I know.
man. Thanks.
I also found it peculiar the way he was like, yeah, it's a Croatian guy working here, and he was devastated.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you feel about it? You know?
But the guy, I didn't realize, because I thought, because it's a website called the Independent Project, or like it's a Twitter account, and they pull together like a wide variety of independents. So a lot of them are obviously incredibly racist. Some of them like very much anti-racist, like running explicitly on platforms of like, I am, a black migrant who's settled here, and I want to run for local office because of the rising racism in the country, and I think that this is an issue and a problem, and that's their like only position basically.
But there's an Indian guy near me who's running.
Yeah.
Who's one of his main bits is we'd love to have more people, but we are compelled to say that we are really full.
Okay. It
So
sounds
sort of
like you don't want to have more people.
Yeah, he is really. He's Indian.
Yeah.
Indian. He moved here from India, and he's like, yeah, I was the last one. It's full after me. I booked my seat.
The guy, I thought that it was kind of like a neutral sort of account, but actually now listening to them interviewing him, where he goes, this guy was supposedly killed for being Croatian. I was like, no, he was actually killed for speaking Croatian, because this is what they fucking told us. Do you know?
Yeah.
That's what this guy is like. You got this guy and he's going like supposedly, but like what he's doing is he's talking to this racist and kind of giving him an out. Do you know what I mean? He's trying to say, don't you feel bad about that Croatian man who was killed, and that's not the type of anti-migrant sentiment we're talking about? And the guy's like, yeah, I have a Croatian worker actually. He felt really bad. He can't even say that he feels bad about it, and it's also the fucked up like the Irish mindset from the past. Like tech, big business, all this type of stuff. It's like they can only relate to things in terms of like business. He's talking about like, my employee felt bad, so naturally as a benevolent employer, that also made me feel bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, stop talking about it in terms of your job. What did you think as a person? You're not better because you're the boss of somebody. Do you know? Like, and I know that maybe that's his thinking about, I'm campaigning, so I need to keep reinforcing that I'm a businessman, I'm a business leader. But like, once again, it's kind of it's what Trump sort of unleashed. But I would say, COVID, we brought it up already, this kind of entitlement of business owners, where everything is like, this country needs to be run like a business. Say what you want about Trump, but he did have some ideas about this stuff,
Well, it sort of started with Sean Gallagher as well, back in the day. And it is funny how, like, back in the day, it was like, I run a pub, and country should look after me. You were like, I'm a landlord, or a doctor, or whatever. But now it's like, I run a dog cleaning shop, where I like give the dog a prostate massage after everything. And I think the country should be run like this company,
Yeah.
The jobs are getting more embarrassing. Do dogs have prostates?
Yes, I believe. That's why they're always humping, right?
Well,
am I right?
Confident. You're so confident. You really, I didn't. I absolutely nailed you on that one.
You looked this up, dog prostate. I mean, I presume. Yeah, they do.
Just go to your homepage. Just go to your homepage.
God, they really fucked. Like, everything with the elections is like designed that as little as possible. Except for the Euros, and the Euros are like.
Well, I do feel like there's just so many people. Like, it's. In one way, it's nice that it's so decentralized. Like, it's just like I'm reading this book on the history of Fine Gael, and they're sort of talking about with like Jack Lynch in whatever it was, 60s or 70s, there's sort of a change in approach to campaigning for the national elections, and that before then, people only really knew their local TDs.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
you just knew them. Obviously, you knew the Taoiseach. You might know some of the front bench. You would know some of the front bench TDs, but then you just knew your local ones. So I sort of like that the.
Well, no, what I mean is that
locals
what you should be able to do is at least type into Google, or there should be a website, and it kind of collates all of the candidates, and you see a picture of them and their name. Not even just to be search what they're about, even just to do that. But I have to go through several windows on a government website, scroll to the bottom, and then written in 12-point font Times New Roman is here are the guys, and you're just this is not very helpful. I don't really see anything about them, and I haven't seen any kind of. Admittedly, our post is kind of fucked up, but I haven't seen anything there's going to be a debate somewhere, or there's going to be a meet the candidates session at town hall or something like that.
Yeah,
it's just all of the attention is paid on the Euros, despite the fact that the Euros are basically the Shannon. They're just people who kind of, the decisions they make don't really feel like they will reflect me on a day-to-day basis in my life in Ireland, despite what fucking some of the candidates would say. Rory Hearn is vote for me for Europe, and I'll go and talk about housing. It's you'll talk about. Do you know how this is rigged? This is it's just Germany. Do you know what I mean? It's basically the EU is just 3 or 4 countries, okay, and then the rest of us can just fuck off. Do you know? So he's going there. This is what we need to do across Europe and housing. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, you from the little island over there that we still allow to be a tax haven. All right, shut the fuck up. Don't be bothering me. Who are you? I don't care. Yeah. Whereas at least on a local level, when people go I don't know, I'll fix the road, then you're they might actually fix the road, or they might be in a position to offer to fix the road. Local elections, everything you need to know about Cork Northwest constituency per the Irish Examiner. So I can find the 2. Yeah,
I have a private look through it there.
I have it here.
Yeah,
Ross Lahive of the Irish People Party. That's the one I was trying to remember.
He's
probably best known for protesting against LGBTQ plus reading material at Cork City Library. Said the main issue he supports are the closure of Ireland's borders and an end to what he regards as the over-sexualization of school children. And he...
Well, you think they're under-sexualized?
Yeah, I'm actually on the opposite side of this. And they're just not open to having a debate on this issue. Where's this guy? There's another guy, Stephen Morrissey, who's a non-party, and I feel like he might also be a big fucking freak. But yeah, I guess there's nothing about him online. You can't find anything. You just find an Instagram page of Stephen.Morrissey.5688. And even the Examiner was there's also a guy running to be an independent. And there is a picture of his policies, but it's in his profile picture, so you can't actually open it to look at it.
He's the first bot to run for Canada.
Where is it? Let's see what his positions are. Reinstate before fives childcare, safer streets, fix water infrastructure, tackle dereliction, create a Northside regional park, sensible approach to immigration. You're just watching all this stuff. You're okay, all right, cool, I get it. And then approach to immigration. All right, racist. Thank you. I don't need to know anymore. I love when they do that. Oh my god, I think his partner appears to be foreign. His lady looks Brazilian.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I bet his sensible immigration, she's allowed over, but his mother-in-law, you know, she's, you know, luckiest guy alive. Luckiest guy alive. His mother-in-law is not allowed into the country.
Yeah. And he's the one who has the main decision.
Yeah, as a local candidate.
My main job is abusing my mother-in-law. Not physically, but mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, and physically.
Also physically if I had the chance. But she's not here right now.
Yeah.
And she will never be here.
So let's go on to the Euros.
All right, fine. I have the polls in front of me here.
Yeah, your man from Monaghan.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned him before. Another poll.
But do you remember recently you sent me the picture of him and he's back?
No, I didn't send that because he's not. Well, I haven't seen him.
You did. You sent it to me. There's a picture of him with Simon Harris. Nico Kavanchek.
Didn't I? Maybe I googled him after. This is how bad my memory is at this point. I don't have it.
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah.
You were like, "Hey, look who's back."
How do you spell his name? I hate his fucking name.
He sent me a message that says Nico and Simon. I guess he's back.
Did I?
Yes.
I told you I've got long COVID, and I do believe that. Celtic Ligers. Did I send it over the Ligers or did I send it over
just a personal WhatsApp? No WhatsApp.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What an oaf. God, I hate him. He shouldn't be in Fine Gael. He should be in Fianna Fáil. That's my take on that.
22, part-time diplomat, full-time obnoxious LinkedIn user, DCU law, chair of quite a few things, former national VP of Elsa Ireland.
Elsa, loved her in Frozen.
What?
I loved her in Frozen.
Yeah,
Frozen.
I loved her in Frasier.
To a lesser extent.
So
the one that I have says opinions offered for free, and that's it.
What
and
did you look at?
I looked up his Twitter at Nico Caw.
This was on his Instagram.
Interesting.
So
he's posted up a campaign flyer. I'm not sure who for.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it says, too many people are sitting on a housing list while okay, no, I'm not reading all that. Grenfell Tower disaster. Finding a school place for a child in the north inner city. So does this mean that he's in Dublin? Oh
I guess
God,
so.
He is. God, he's gone national. Hateful fucking man. Oh, these freaks, they'll be the death to me. Just the idea.
Okay.
Euros.
So I think the way we should do this, feel free to say no, but I think this is the way to. Let's just fly through the candidates, and if we recognise any of them, we can talk about them. If we don't, we just move on. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
So here's the Dublin candidates: Barry Andrews, Fianna Fáil, incumbent MEP. So that's Ryan Tubridy's cousin. Kieran Cuff, Green Party, incumbent.
Gobshite, just complete tool.
Claire Daly, independent.
Yeah, Claire Daly. Nice. I like her. Good.
Yeah. She's been mad, you know. Like I've said it before, but it's like if I was the voice for the left in Europe, I don't think I'd be going to Iran to she met with that militia group who fought ISIS.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to it because I just presume that it's mainstream propaganda against an anti-war voice.
Well, she went over and she was like in a video endorsing this militia group. It's just like, I wouldn't do that.
But did she endorse it? Because anytime you hear somebody
Yes.
talk, like in the video, the words come out of her mouth, these guys are good, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't think it's a particularly sensible thing to do.
Mm.
But hey, you like them.
Hey, I'm still...
Okay, Regina.
Okay.
Regina Doherty.
I always get her confused with the woman who fell off the swing for whatever reason. She's in Fine Gael. She's got crazy eyes. She's the one who reported the blogger to the police so that the guards came to pick her up at the airport or something like that. Do you remember that?
What blogger was that?
There was some lady who was blogging about Regina Doherty and her partner's business. And Regina Doherty... Anyway, let me get this up. Regina Doherty. Blogger considers legal action over guard caution at airport. A New York-based blogger who was stopped and cautioned by Gardaí at Dublin Airport about social media posts she made about Minister for Employment Regina Doherty is considering legal action against the Gardaí. The minister made a criminal complaint of harassment under the Non-Fatal Offences Against the Person Act 1997 over online and social media comments made by Tyrone-born woman Catherine Kelly. Ms. Kelly made a series of criticisms of the Meath East Fine Gael TD about the collapse of a company run by Miss Doherty and her husband 8 years ago. Ms. Kelly was approached by two Gardaí at the airport on June 27th who asked to confirm her identity and then cautioned her about her social media posts.
I wonder what she said.
Let me see. The complaint by Miss Doherty was made under Section 10 of the Non-Fatal Offences Against the Person Act 1997. It states, any person who, without lawful authority or reasonable excuse by any means, including by use of the telephone, harasses another by blah, 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 blah. Where is it? No, I don't have it. That's the Irish Times. That was in 2017. Catherine Kelly. I'm just going to type in Catherine Kelly, Regina Doherty, and see what the actual thing was.
There's a picture someone sent me, and it's her. Regina Doherty. There was like a rugby match over the weekend, and she went down to wherever they play rugby. Bridge, and it's just her standing on the side of the road with a sign that says vote for Doherty. I think she's the type of person that like an older rugby dad would call a firecracker.
Yeah, I believe it. Can't find it.
I'm just going to send you a link to this. The thing I'm reading.
Well, I have the polls here. Look at the polls. I'm not talking about Nico Cavanchek. I'm talking about actual data.
Yeah. Lynn Boylan.
Huh? Lynn Boylan.
Lynn Boylan.
Wait, I'm not.
She's the one who's married to.
Niall Owen O'Brien.
The Kingfisher himself.
Yeah. What was I going to look up? What was the thing?
I feel like he's patient.
Yeah, patient zero.
He's patient zero for the coddle. People trying to research, like to bring back coddle. You know? Owen O'Brien.
He's definitely in that milieu.
What?
He's definitely in that milieu.
He'd be like, just sitting down to a delicious coddle dinner.
Yeah.
And it really does. To me, it's like that's what happens when you have Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
Something like coddle falls out of you. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I was trying to remember this one bit. This was earlier in the year. We mentioned it already, but bears repeating now. Where Lynn Boylan's whole thing is about the environment. You know, so there's certain people who kind of like, kind of politicians deciding this is my thing and I'm going to be known for it. So it's hers was the environment, and so she was one of the people who took a case against the government over CETA. The other one was Patrick Costello. And she's kind of just vocal on those issues. But anyway, in February 27th, Gavin Riley tweets out, the European Parliament ratifies the nature restoration law. Lynn Boylan tweets that going, great news. And then Gavin Riley retweets her again, like, probably won't be able to find it, but essentially he was like, maybe you should. He retweets it again going, Sinn Féin's only MEP voted against it. So like, so it's that type of thing where it's like there's these elements of the party, you can't help but be a little cynical about them, where it's like I can use this costume of the left to kind of garner support, but also like I'm fighting within this. Now it depends what you think. Do you support Lynn Boylan? Do you think that she's a genuine person? Then she's fighting against this kind of entrenched party system, or you think like they're like the same as the Greens, they're same as Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael, where it's like, fuck the people who are in my, just being cynical, just using this stuff to get ahead, knowing full well what your actual politics are. So I don't know. Anyway, that's the
It definitely seems like, I think maybe the party, like maybe Lynn Boylan has a genuine interest in green politics. But then, like if Sinn Féin got in, I don't think they'd still allow her to like indulge in that. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you've seen that, but like a lot of people have been posting leaflets that have come through the door for Sinn Féin, and across the country they all have the exact same paragraph about immigration and how we need to have harsher borders. So like Rory Fahy, who is, I believe, the PBP candidate to be the Limerick mayor, he managed to find a tweet put out by some Sinn Féin guy who's going like, we didn't have any control over this. Obviously, I don't agree with it, but it's just what's on the leaflets around the country. And he's just like, just don't put it on the leaflets. Just don't put it on the leaflets, then I would say.
Like it is such a incredibly centralized party. You know what I mean?
But also with Lynn Boylan, it's like she gets a lot of. Or does she get a lot of coverage? I don't know. The other thing that she ran in was the Dublin Bay South by-election, and a lot of people thought it was kind of like she could be a contender, and she wasn't a contender. Do you know? I don't think she is. Yeah,
she's pretty high profile for a senator. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And she is a senator, is she?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I don't know. I just think that she gets a lot of attention, but it doesn't really feel like it translates into anything. Do you know?
No.
I don't know if she's that impressive a person either, to me. Certainly not when it's like, I'm the environment person in Sinn Féin. It's like, all right, good luck to you, man. Do you know what I mean?
Breed Smith.
Yeah, Breach Smith was meant to step down, but then because of Gaza, she's decided that she's going to run for the Euros.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's also stepped down as the leader of the party, as far as I'm aware. I think it's Richard Boyd Barrett now.
No,
unless that's changed.
I don't think PVP have. I don't think they have a leader.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a collective leadership.
I'm going to look here. Adon
O'Riordan.
He's one of the most boring fucks. Just a Labour guy.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him, really.
He has a lot of big billboards around the place.
Trying to think of something he did. I remember that like he's another one who's very good for speaking out of both sides of his mouth, and particularly on immigration, he's had like one or two absolute clangers, which he then has kind of gone like. So if like the people that I follow on Twitter, what'll happen is Adon O'Riordan will say something like, "This is disgraceful what happened to this Croatian man who was beaten to death," And then somebody would be like, what about this string of tweets where you're basically like, we need to tear the tents out and all this type of shit, you know? Like, you'd probably be a bit more benign because he's Labour, but it is, you know, there's a very triangulating component to him, and he's incredibly boring, and he looks like Eamon Ryan to me as well, and except
he does.
More of a strained Eamon Ryan, like Eamon Ryan if like he was trying to make his face turn red, you know?
Yeah, Eamon Ryan if we had more red meat.
Eamon Ryan if he didn't, if he had higher blood pressure. Eamon Ryan if he didn't get his 12 hours a day, you know? Me.
Yeah. Dáithí Dúlan, Sinn Féin, councillor for Dublin City Council.
Now, I actually did come across him recently because
That's
I did.
a man.
Huh?
It blows my mind that Dáithí is a man's name.
Really? Why?
Yeah, it should be a woman's name.
Okay.
I know what you're going to say.
So what aren't
What's
you
a
trying to
woman?
say? What the fuck aren't you trying to say?
Dáithí Dúlan.
Well, this is what I was going to. So I recorded separately because we were talking about Gary Gannon on a previous episode, and we mentioned O'Devany Gardens. So I was like, I'll just do a little potted history of O'Devany Gardens. So I went back in and read out some articles to try and give context. But what ended up happening is Dáithí Dúlan came up because in 2018 or 2017, Ailish Ryan put forward a motion that was approved to make sure that there was 100% public housing on public land for O'Devany Gardens. And then a few months later, because of pressure from Simon Coveney, the same people who approved this bill approved this motion, put forward the exact opposite motion, saying that it'd be part public, part private, okay? And Dáithí Dúlan was the one who put it forward, saying it was the most sensible thing for the area.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the reason he was on my mind recently. I was like, fuck, he's running in the Euros now. Like, just, you want to know these people's mettle. Do you know what I mean? Like, where are you going to be when there's like just this bit of pushback? Are you going to be on the front lines or going like, this is the best that we can get at this moment? It's like, well then, you know, whatever. I mean, go to Europe because I could fucking care less. All right. But like, you know, and actually, here's
how many of these people would like vote to, like Maria Walsh did, to like, not to help migrants crossing the
exactly. But that's
you know.
It's also important to point out that Claire Daly didn't attend that vote. The margins were so narrow. All it would take was like one or two people to vote a different way, and then that bill wouldn't have passed. And Claire Daly was like, "Oh, I had to go home. I had to catch a flight," so she didn't fucking vote in it.
Yeah. I had to go support Boko Haram in Nigeria. It's not that bad. Sinead Gibney, Social Democrats.
Don't know. Next. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Sinead Gibney, the Social Democrats are really the like consolation prize for me. Do you know what I mean? It's like there are much worse people to get in, but there are much better, you know? To me, the Social Democrats are centrist, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no.
They are what should be centrists.
Yeah.
The ones who are like, oh, what if it's a mix of you know, or like of private and public, as opposed to like, we're like, what if we got the people in nice tents to sleep in? Or you let them sleep wherever they want, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I like, that's the reason I kind of resent them the most, because at least with some hardline right winger, it's like, you know where they stand. Whereas these guys will say, well, let's just sit down and talk it out. And then it's like, well, I don't know what position you're going to come to, because it could be fucking really bad, you know? Like in the case of Gary Gannon, with what's the compromise going to be, you know? Like, and the compromise never seems to, you know, to be to the benefit of people who are struggling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, look, this was the best that we could get out of these people who hold all the power. It's like, you know, and until we change that structure, which we have absolutely no real plan on doing, then I don't know. Anyway, the point is that like I don't like putting my faith in them. It makes me feel bad because, you know, They're like the Greens. They're like Labour. They're like something where it's like, you seem like you're okay, but I have just been burnt so many times. Why the fuck would I believe you? Do you know?
Yeah.
Unless you kind of come out and say, this is, anyway, whatever.
This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Aisling Considine, I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
Aim to.
Yeah. Primary school teacher, no shock there.
Yeah.
It is amazing how many of these people who think that trans and gay ideology is being like fed to school children, how they're all fucking teachers who are also doing their own form of indoctrination.
Yeah. Stephen O'Rourke, independent.
So do you have anything
scientist.
to say about Aisling Considine?
No, I don't like it, Yeah. Stephen O'Rourke, scientist.
Okay, let's look him up.
I wonder what type of scientist he is.
Yeah, I don't know. Stephen O'Rourke. Wait, I want to look him up. I want to see what he's about. Oh, you should look him up.
Yeah.
Get a picture of this guy.
Okay.
One of the smuggest looking cunts. Rory Hearn, if he was like 1 degree more smug.
Actually, I'm not going to use my laptop to look him up. What's his name? Stephen O'Rourke.
Yeah. Independent MEP. As a Dublin native with over a decade of scientific experience, again, he doesn't say what science, in Scotland and Germany, I am dedicated to bringing practical evidence-based solutions to the European Parliament. My campaign is driven by commitment to improving mental health resources, improving addiction and recovery services, and advocating for smart, community-focused immigration policy. I love it. Always at the end. I want to do housing. I believe in mental health. And also I hate the migrants. Anyway, just like... Give me more policies. Give me anything, man. Beware of those candidates who promise you the moon and the stars. I do not have all the answers, but what I do have is the desire and strength to raise my voice in Europe on your behalf. Are you on his website?
No, I'm trying to find out what type of scientist he is.
And maybe he'll say it here on his website, which seems to be in Germany. Hometown, born and raised in Ballyfermot. Still no... His education is here, but still no background in the science department.
Where is it? Does he say where he went to?
School in Ballyfermot. Oh, sorry, no, he doesn't. He says science degrees in Dublin and Glasgow. Moved to Germany in 2012, so I think he's in Germany at the moment. Married to a wonderful Turkish woman. We live and work in Germany. Fluent in German, improving my Turkish and brushing up on Gaeilge. About me and key priorities. There's a tricolour. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. And then I was like, oh, his lady's Turkish. And then you see her and she's like kind of white Turkish. So you're like, okay, I get it now. I also think a lot of the anti-migrant stuff is like the no homers club. It's like, we're allowed to have one,
Yeah.
The one that agrees with me. Shaping a better Dublin together. He lives in Germany. Why is he saying that?
What sort of scientist is he? I want to know.
Look up his LinkedIn.
I'm just going to guess. Is he one of those scientists who investigates if dogs have prostates?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to work.
I was like, I'm asking, my thesis was on why do we shit?
Yeah.
Here we go. I just trying to figure out what type of racist he is. This is what most of these things are, where it goes balancing influence, keeping an eye on NGOs, and it's like, okay, you're racking up points in the very bad racist columns. Where is the immigrant stuff? Radical transparency. Transparency isn't just a buzzword. It's funny getting hung up on the independence, Oh, I just love a good independent is all. Oh, here we go. Shaping smart immigration. Navigating the complexities of immigration with a compassionate yet pragmatic approach is crucial for Dublin's development. My own journey, which saw me move to Germany over a decade ago to take up work as a scientist, allowed me to contribute meaningfully across the country and in various industries, and even fostering community through the establishment of GAA clubs. Okay. However, one thing must be made clear to the Irish government, NGOs and Europe. Unregulated mass immigration is not sustainable, especially on the scale of what is happening today, where it occurs without community involvement. Some will attack me for these words. To those I say, how is it right that in the dark of night people are brought into communities without them knowing and with already severely strained resources and amenities? I would say you should focus on those issues as opposed to the individuals who are being...
Yeah.
Why are the residents of those communities labelled far right for expressing their concerns and asking questions? Why are all asking questions? Fuck off with your fucking questions.
I think as well, like, the people who are labelled far right are the ones who, like, drive all the way from Dublin to, like, Newtown Mount Kennedy to...
Yeah, scream at a Chinese child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to Africa.
What? Yeah.
Let me be clear and upfront. The practice of individuals arriving into Ireland and discarding their documentation prior to passport check undermines... I'm going to give up now. He's a racist. He's the racist. He's not just like, I'm going to just drop the word immigration to try and trigger the pleasure centers of the racist brains.
No, he gives a shit.
Yeah, he cares about fucking over migrants, so let's do that.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
next one.
Well, that's the free one. Hear the rest over on patreon.com/CelticLigers, otherwise you won't know who to vote for. The Ligers also talk about the Katie Hannon Euro debates briefly, then a Galway hustings, and then take a look at the polls to see who's doing well.